The European Space Agency, ESA, estimates there are 2,000 defunct spacecraft among a total of 10,000 spacecraft currently in space, a majority of which enter the Earth's atmosphere in a natural rather than controlled way. This week we'll see a first-of-its-kind operation to guide a dead and disused satellite back to Earth safely. The mission will pave the way for the safe return of other space-based equipment in the future. The European Space Agency, ESA, plans to help its ELS spacecraft officially re-enter Earth's atmosphere during the evening of Friday, July 28. The procedure to bring it back down to our planet, however, begins on Monday, July 24. ELS has been orbiting Earth since 2018, when it became the first spacecraft to measure our planet's winds from space. The mission has far outlived its planned operational lifetime of 1 year, but was finally shut down after almost completely exhausting its fuel in early July 2023. Since then, the spacecraft has been falling toward Earth with gathering speed. By Monday, it should have reached an altitude of 174 miles, 280 kilometers, over Earth, allowing ESA scientists to start the pioneering mission to bring ELS back down safely using a tiny bit of fuel that remains with the craft. This is quite unique, what we're doing. You don't find really examples of this in the history of spaceflight, head of ESA's Space Debris Office Holger Craig said during a press briefing on Wednesday, July 19. This is the first time to our knowledge we have done an assisted re-entry like this. During the press briefing, ESA Spacecraft Operations Manager Isabel Rojo Escudero explained precisely how the operation to bring ELS down to Earth will proceed. This will start with an initial set of maneuvers that will be executed on Monday to lower the altitude from 174 miles, 280 kilometers, which the spacecraft should have by then, to 155 miles, 250 kilometers, and to put it in an elliptical orbit, Escudero said. If everything goes according to plan, this will be then followed 3 days later by another set of maneuvers which is intended to lower it even further from 155 miles, 250 kilometers, to 93 miles, 150 kilometers altitude. All of this is preparation for the last day of operations on Friday, when ESA scientists will give ELS given its final commands. The craft will then perform maneuvers to bring its altitude down to around 62 miles, 100 kilometers over Earth. 5 hours later, the craft will re-enter Earth's atmosphere, engaging in a flight descent corridor over the Atlantic Ocean with the ESA tracking it by radar as it falls. The maneuvers intended to lower the craft will be retrograde in nature, meaning the thrusters on ELS will be firing in the opposite direction of its orbit around Earth. The risk of clashing with other spacecraft during maneuvers is expected to be low because ELS orbits Earth in a sparsely populated zone. Still, if such an encounter appears to be a threat, plans are in place to divert ELS descent. Before we do any sort of maneuvers, this is all taken into account, and any conjunction risks are evaluated at that point in time, Escudero said. So the deviation from the plan is possible. This is one of the multiple challenges that we will be facing. Should the operation fail at any point, ELS will make the natural, unguided re-entry it was originally destined for when it was created. The WIN satellite was once dubbed the impossible mission because of several challenges ESA had to overcome to make it work in the first place. To be clear, even if the ELS return mission is a complete success, the satellite's safe descent to Earth doesn't exactly mean it returns to the planet in one piece. At the press conference, ESA scientists explained they expect around 80% of ELS to be destroyed as the satellite falls through the atmosphere. The remaining 20% will splash down in the Atlantic and quickly sink, meaning there are no plans to recover any pieces of ELS at all. Craig explained that an 80% to 20% survival ratio for a spacecraft entering the atmosphere is typical of natural descent, so the re-entry procedure isn't intended to be safe for ELS or any of its pieces. Rather, the safe aspect of this mission refers to the fact it could help scientists build the groundwork for future missions that will bring other space equipment back to Earth with little risk to property or populations. This is becoming increasingly important as use of the space environment around Earth burgeons. While there have been no major incidents of human-made space junk causing injuries or property damage as of yet, the growing use of orbital space means it could happen one day, and the ESA is taking such a threat very seriously. Hence, the retired ELS satellite's final mission to build a method of safely guiding other disused craft back to Earth in a controlled way.